Hi, Lisa Pierce here from Packaging Digest, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Samantha Smith, a sustainability leader and innovator who was previously Medtronic's engineering director for product stewardship. I heard her speak last week at the Packout conference, and she talked about sustainability in medtech. Very interesting, and we're going to dig down a little bit deeper into that. So Sam, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak about this topic, which I'm super passionate about, and just want to be fully transparent. I'm speaking on behalf of myself today and my experience and everything that I've learned on my sustainability journey.
Understood. Great. So one of the things that you talked about at the Packout in your presentation was circularity. And I got the sense that there are many people, many packaging professionals at medical device companies that are very familiar with the importance of sustainability in packaging. But I also got the sense that the word circularity may have been a little bit of a newer concept for them. And just wanted to, like I say, dig a little bit deeper into this. So what is circularity, and why should medtech packaging professionals be thinking about circularity?
Sure. And that's really something that I think most of us understand circularity in general, how we're looking at it in our homes and our kitchens, recycling, reusing things. We're seeing it all over the world where we're, even the uptick of people using Stanley cups and things like that, where that they're not throwing things away. So really circularity is just that simple. You're trying to reuse things as much as possible. Where I think it's been different for medtech is that with our ISO requirements, with our always needing to pay attention to and keep first the patient and making sure we have patient safety, circularity is always immediately dismissed as something that we really aren't going to focus on. We may focus on recycling, we may focus on recycled content in the areas in which we can, but we're not really focused on how do we look at that total value chain or the total care pathway and figure out what can we reuse and how can we design our packaging, if and when possible, to be circular or to support the circularity of the devices and the products in which we are packaging.
Excellent. Yes, I do think that the easy way of phrasing it, or a synonym, oh God, I can't even say that word. The same word that's a different word that means the same thing, is zero waste from a circularity point of view. And I know that is super, super hard in the healthcare field, especially when you're talking about hospitals and other care facilities, when there's potential contamination there that needs to be separated, and the end of life is a different path, must take a different path. But I do also think that there is a bigger focus on circularity in general, but interesting how medtech might be able to think about it. So, sustainability has gone through a couple of different evolutions recently, and I wonder if there's a way of identifying maybe the business benefits of circularity, specifically here for the medical device professional.
Yeah, and I think, for those of us who were at the Packout last week, we saw Nestor from Kaiser Permanente really lean into this. And so we're hearing it all over from different customers. We're hearing it both here in the US and Europe, that they want us to bring them more products, packaging options that are circular. They want to eliminate waste to landfill. They may have carbon reduction goals, just like regular companies, with a 2045 goal or a net zero goal or a scope 3 emissions goal. And so what they're looking for, what we're hearing from our customers or customers in medtech, is that they need products, packaging that help them meet that goal. And so that is really part of the business case. I think it's becoming historically, when we went to Historically, when you go to your customer, you would give them information about, here's our net zero plan, here's 2045, here's what we're doing. That's really table stakes now. I mean, everybody's doing that. What really is going to be a differentiator and drive that change in business is providing your customer that circularity value, providing your customer that the extra piece that helps them meet their goals, not just what you're doing with your own internal company.
Yes, and that is exactly what Nestor did say, that it is definitely a purchase consideration for him. But I think for a lot of the buyers in at the hospital systems these days. But in your presentation, you did mention what some of the major challenges are, though, and I'm going to just briefly, there were three, and I'm going to just briefly read them off from your slide that you had. So ISO design standards require full resin traceability, eliminating the possibility for recycled content. So recycled content is a difficulty. Medical waste is considered contaminated or biohazard. So it's a little bit difficult for take-back programs, other recycling. And then third is the mechanical recyclers are limited in the materials that they can accept that are typically used in medical device packaging, very specifically PETG for trays and then Tyvek for lidding. So those are the three challenges that you had talked about. But how do we solve for these?
That's a great question. And I think we are going to need system level change. So when you think about the first one, which is that we're being asked more and more to have recycled content into packaging as packaging engineers all over, both consumer and in medtech. If you look at the ISO standard 11607 requires full traceability for sterile barrier packaging. Right now, if we have post-industrial potentially or post-recycle or post-consumer recycled content, that traceability chain, specifically with post-consumer, and then it's a new place to test post-industrial, may or may not meet that requirement for ISO. I think that needs to be tested. So what can we use to answer that question and be able to put recycled content for our customers? The other thing is biohazard waste. Everything that comes out of the OR, whether it needs to be or not, a lot of it is put in the biohazard bin. That means it's going to get incinerated, most likely. It may get landfilled. So we need system level change at not just at a hospital level, but at sometimes in government level to be able to address those issues. There are not enough people that can and will pick up biohazard waste and be able to sort it and put the materials that can be recycled in a better space. So, and we also have constraints within the OR. So as I look at, okay, if I design this amazing package, if I did whatever I wanted to do, or if engineers in the industry design this amazing thing, they might need 6 or 7 bins within the OR. We need the primary package bin. We need the secondary package bin. We need the device bin. Oh, we need you to put this other thing over here. The OR is already busy enough. And if you think about, a situation where you have to get at something quickly, you don't want people to have to be thinking about, where they're going to put pieces of packaging. We've got to make it simple. The one bin solution in your kitchen is why people like a lot of the recycling, because they can just put all the same thing in the same bin. Separating it out is very difficult. And then lastly, PETG and Tyvek are both recyclable. So there are places that will take them, then it is industry accepted that they are recyclable and they're great materials. The struggle that we have is that there's not enough pickup points for those. There's not enough ability to separate them out and have them picked up. And then as you look at the different tray materials or the different flexible materials that can be paired with Tyvek, sometimes it's difficult to separate them too. So again, we're putting a lot of onus on the hospital to be able to separate out materials that are difficult to find the right pickup person. And while they're great materials and while they work really, really well, again, system level change to start pulling these materials in and have something done with them that could be value added instead of we don't have enough time, space, or energy to put it anywhere except in the biohazard bin.
hmm Sam, this is the first time I'm hearing the concept of a single bin, similar to your most Americans' curbside bins, where it's a single stream. But this is the first time I'm hearing about it for the medtech as an option for medtech as a potential option, and that's intriguing to me because I think that's got a lot of benefits because it's easiest for the hospitals.
Mhm.
And it is, when you talk about systematic change, it is something that we have found to be somewhat successful on the consumer side. So
Right.
there's history there, there's knowledge there, there's technology there. So that sounds very interesting to me.
Encourage folks to reach out to the NHS and NHS Scotland. I know that they have, specifically in Scotland, they are trying to pilot programs like this, where they're pulling materials back to one single location and sorting them and recycling them. So there is this push within Europe to go after this either one bin solution or full system solution that's across the value chain. I don't have full details on it. And as I'm embarking on my next journey here professionally, hoping I'm still going to be in the industry and be able to work on things like this because I'm really passionate about it.
I can tell. Thank you, Sam, so much for spending some time and explaining about this. And we will keep an eye on advancements as we're sure to see. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it.